Hi, everyone, and first of all, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much for Health Hub, for Michal, Sam, and Adam that invited me to be here a keynote speaker. I'm a walker, so I'm gonna walk. So I don't need a chair. I don't need a chair. It's okay. It's okay. I'm a walker. So, by the way, this is my first time in Slovakia, and beautiful. Just beautiful, beautiful country, and thank you very much for showing me the city of Bratislava. So because we have some time limitation, without further ado, thank you very much for coming, and let's have a little bit of a discussion, or let's think out loud. Let's call it this way. We're going to talk about innovation, and innovation as the catalyst of growth. What a little bit of growth can create in any environment that you take, in business, life, whatever you want. So there is a famous saying that innovate or die, and we're going to examine this sort of perception. We're going to talk a little bit about innovation as a problem solving. Maybe, what is innovation in that sense? Is there an equation, some sort of a bottom line here that you can say to someone, here's your equation, if you act like this, here's what you will receive. We're going to see it if there's something exists here. For me as an Israeli, it's a big honor and privilege to be here and presenting the Israeli startup nation, the Israeli ecosystem. So thank you very much again for this opportunity. We'll talk a little bit about the Israeli approach for innovation. Why, in terms of startup index, even though Israel is only 9.5 million population, why we are called a startup nation. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And of course, embracing innovation, how we can embrace it, how we can hug it, invite it, and do something with it. So again, my name is Alex. I'm a tech entrepreneur. I invest in startups, and I'm doing global business development. This is some of the companies that I'm involved with. Again, thank you very much for having me. So startup innovation, we're going to talk a little bit about what is innovation. We're going to talk about why you should innovate. I'm not trying to convince anyone. It's mostly for thinking out loud, mostly like to get your wheels in your mind to scroll a little bit. We talk about the 5 levels of innovation that I will introduce you, and I will show you a riddle of how you can solve a super complex problem of millions and millions of dollars with just $5. So it's going to be a riddle. Let's take it from there. So what is innovation? It's something that I get a lot in a lot of speeches, because innovate what? It's something new. Okay, and then how do you apply innovation? What does it mean, innovation? There's a lot of questions to be asked, because a lot of people like to throw those buzzwords, AI, innovation, generative AI. But really, people don't really understand and grasp this concept. But innovation, the only one that I really liked, this phrase that was given by Ev Rogers, he gave us the diffusion of innovation. I really invite you to look it up. It means that there is some sort of a graph. There is the early adopters that every time that you hear a new mobile phone, smartphone, iPhone, they're the first ones to get it. They're the first one to get it. The same thing goes for innovation. There will always be people that are willing to innovate, they're always willing to grasp the concept of innovation at first stage, and of course, the other ones that will follow. There's early majority, late majority, and late innovation implements. So, let's think about innovation as mostly for thinking patterns, as a way of solving problems. Because why innovate? You only innovate if there is something that is painful or uncomfortable, or there's some sort of a problem that you need to find a solution for. So let's take a closer look at as a stairway that you need to go through when getting to a real innovation or innovation methodology. There is the innovation thinking. You start thinking, okay, why should I solve this? This is a problem. Why even bother? Is it uncomfortable enough, or should I do something about it? Then I started thinking, okay, Okay, I have some ideas. I have some ideas to solve this. So here's another step. Then we have to act because, you know, thinking is, okay, everyone thinks. Why not? You know, it doesn't cost us anything. But only when you say, okay, I'm willing to do something about it, then you start doing the real innovation. The real innovation kicks in. Promised you a riddle, and here it goes. Innovation doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to think outside of the box. There is a millions of dollars of issue problem when you get a fish, fresh fish, through the Atlantic, right? You caught a fish, and you transport them with fish tanks, huge fish tanks. But here is the problem. When they get to their destination, the fish, because they were so lazy, because they were not in the ocean, they was in a fish tank, they didn't have too much place to swim. So when they arrived at their destination, they were really, the meat, the flesh, there wasn't too, it wasn't good for sushi, let's call it this way. It was like really untasty, foul and stuff like that. So how would only $5, it's just a concept, right? $5, you solve this issue. So what the guys did, they just added one more fish, which is the barracuda fish. This is the barracuda, nice to meet you. The barracuda fish is a predator fish. What happened is when they added him, here's the catalyst. They added him to the fish tank, all the fishes started swimming really fast. And when they get to the destination, they're really fresh because they're always pumping it. So yeah, he ate a fish or two, but when it arrived, all the fish were really fresh. So if I have you so far, let's talk a little bit about why innovate. You remember COVID, and Israel was one of the first countries, if not the first, that made a vaccination, and I'm proud to say that our startup was one of the first startups that used to work with the largest HMO in Israel to help the citizens to get vaccine really quickly. We got vaccinated millions of people in a short period of notice. And innovation, when you say why to innovate, think about this. It's creating a competitive edge versus a stagnation. If you're not innovating, then you're staying in a plateau. You're staying in a plateau. You have to, if you're talking about business, you always have to strive for business growth. Because if you're not growing, someone will outgrow you. Okay, there is always someone that is going to compete with you, or you're going to become irrelevant. You have to adaptability versus inflexibility. So if there is a change, and there is always going to be a change, okay, we're accustomed to change. There's a war going on. There is always a business threat. There is always a COVID, a pandemic, whatever. Think about all the biggest companies that you maybe heard of, Blockbuster, BlackBerry, Kodak. They were all saying, I don't need to innovate. Like I'm a company, I'm a market leader. Why should I innovate? And nobody remembers them today. Briefly, 5 stages of innovation by Gendrich Altschuler. He, I would say, consolidated everything into a program called the TREES program, which means there are simple improvement, technical construction resolution, physical, new technology, discover a new phenomena. Here is what it means in simple words. Take the iPhone, for example. Okay, here's the levels of innovation as Gendrich saw it. Simple improvement. You take the smartphone, you just make the camera a little bit larger. Simple, okay. Technical, okay. Maybe add another camera. So you have a camera for selfie and camera for taking pictures, okay? You have physical, maybe make it bigger, wider, smaller, adaptable, compatible, everything, okay? So this is a physical. A new technology, maybe take the screen. Instead of LCD, maybe do it something else, maybe do it a wider screen. So this is a new technology being implemented. And discovery of new phenomena, it means that it's way above the normal innovation. Why 99%? Because all the major innovations, think about this, they're here. Number 1 to 4. or rarely you'll find a new phenomenon. New phenomenon means that, for example, I will take a look at my iPhone, I would do like this, and it calls my mom. Okay, like, I don't know, it's something crazy. Even though my mom calls me, even though I'm just picking up the phone, and mom, you know, it's like, she knows when I'm thinking of her. Is there an innovation equation? Yes and no, because there is no one innovation that really covers them all. But I've tried to find out something that really speaks, or let's say close to what I perceive as innovation. First, you need to have a creativity, okay? You need to have an imagination. If you're looking at a problem and you say, okay, this is a problem, okay, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't have any creative mind to do it. I don't have any inspiration to try to think differently. I need resources, because every innovation, let's be very honest, you need money. You need money, you need resources. It can be finance resources. It could be a talent. Okay, if you don't have the right people with you, you won't be able to support innovation and collaboration. Think about it this way. We're all sitting in this room, and we're all individuals. But think about how much can we accomplish if we all work together on the same trajectory, on the same vector. So collaboration is super important. And every company that you will work for, or organization that you work for, if you won't get on top, on the bus, let's call it this way, the right people with you that see and share the same vision as you, it will be very difficult to promote innovation in your organization. You need that collaboration factor. Here is another thought. So, okay, we have the creativity, resources, yeah, we have a lot of money, collaboration, great. Are you with me? Yeah, I'm with you, all good. But now starts the hard work. You need to implement innovation. You need to implement everything, our ideas, our methodologies. You need to implement it. If you don't know how to implement it, then it's not going to happen, okay? And of course, the IM is the impact. You have to measure the impact. What if, like the same example that I gave you about the Barracuda, the impact there was phenomenal. Why $5? Here's a predator fish, solved me millions of dollars of problem, huge impact. Sometimes the impact is not that big, but still very significant. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Israeli. I want to leave some room for questions, so I'm kind of moving forward here. The Israeli approach for innovation. Now, I know it's a little bit presumptuous because I'm just one entrepreneur out of many. And what I'm giving you, what I will kind of present to you here is my own perspective of someone that invests in startups, working with startups, run thousands of member communities. So this is what I see from a zoom out. Every tech entrepreneur will say something differently, but this is something that is backed by numbers. So kind of this is my way of looking at things. So high startup density, over 6,000 active startups, number 3 on the World Index for startups, strong R&D investment, vibrant innovation. Listen, there's so many accelerators, hubs, communities, institutes, countless. I invite you, if someone is interested, to start looking up to it. Global impact, we all know companies like Waze, Checkpoint, Mobileye, Wix, Monday, and so on and so on. This is something very interesting that I know that in Slovakia is maybe a little bit of controversy or something of need to take a look from a different perspective, but we have something that's called an Israeli Innovation Authority that's being backed by the government. Our startup received funding, 1.3 million shekels, it's like $300,000, something like that, from the Minister of Innovation, from the Innovation Authority. So it gave us a boost to start working with a very big and distinguished clients. Is there any secret ingredient, let's call it this way, to be like in the startup nation? What's so interesting here? Here is what I found out, and this is what I see across the board. Daring, we don't get, let's say, we don't get the phrase impossible. Yalla, it's going to be done. It's going to be done. We're curious. We're unafraid. We're unafraid to make mistakes. We're unafraid to ask the toughest questions. You know, sometimes I'm sitting in a room, I don't know, with my fellow peers from North America, from Ukraine, from many different countries, Germany, and I see that they're not asking questions, or they're not asking the right questions. They're afraid because maybe they will be perceived as maybe irrelevant or funny or whatever. But Israeli we don't even bother about that. We see the CEO, and sometimes the junior developer says, no, it's a bad idea. I have a better idea. CEO, junior, but we have this culture of, okay, openness, approachness. Okay, I'm not saying you have to do it, every day, but it's something that we do it quite often. And now this is some sort of a chutzpah. Okay, we have a chutzpah. Now a chutzpah, it's a Yiddish word. It's audacity. This is the closest one, audacity. Take a look at me, for example. Okay, we're a startup of 3 people. That's it, 3 people. And we're working with Clalit, which is one of the biggest HMOs in Israel. It's the biggest. In the world, it's number 6 or 7, 3.2 million customers. We work with Minister of Internal Affairs. I invest in startups that said to me no for my offer. Like I gave them an offer, said no, it's way below the market. Sharon said, I said okay, and I asked him again and again in a different way. So be a little bit bold. This is what kind of my 2 cents on this, and this is something that also very, very important. Now we don't assume, because sometimes. And I really loved your question for the previous, James was the name? What inspires you? And I thought about it, and what inspires me is my daughters. I have three little daughters, and they inspire me. Why? Because they ask everything. They don't get anything for granted. I said, Daddy, why you do this? Why did you, why? Because they don't get it for granted. And this is what I try to be. This is what I strive to be. I always ask, like CEOs, executives, or huge companies, I say, why? Why are you doing this? And sometimes they don't even know why they're doing this. And been doing this for years. I say, Alex, I don't know. Okay, let's think about it. Embracing innovation. And we have 2 minutes, so it's, I want to leave you with something interesting for the rest. So education and R&D, of course, it's super important. Entrepreneur culture, we've discussed about everything. I'm not going to innovate you anything here. Infrastructure, ecosystem, collaboration, these are fancy words. Okay, it needs to be written, but every one of them has a huge potential. But the only thing that I want you to remember is 2 things. One is you need a vision. You need a vision, because vision gets a collaboration. And please, whatever you do, don't be crabs. What is crabs? So, apparently, there is something that's called a crab mentality. Crab mentality, I don't know if anyone here loves to fish, but I love fishing. And if you take 1 crab and put it in a bucket, he will escape. No problem. 2 crabs, they will also escape. Put the 3rd one, they would never escape. And then you can put the 4th, the 5th, the 70th, whatever. They would never escape. Why? At first we thought that, okay, be with us. Be with the herd. Don't go there. There is dangerous. Be with us. Here is safe. Everyone would be boiled and cooked, but here is safe. No. But what the scientists saw is every crab that tried to get out, they broke him. They broke his claws. They broke his legs. They almost killed him. So the crab mentality describes a phenomenon, it's a psychological phenomenon that says, if I cannot have it, neither do you, which means don't be crabs. And if you see some entrepreneurs, this is what Israeli doing the most. This is like #1 for us. If we see a tech entrepreneur, inspirational, we're going to help him, no matter what. We say, you know what, let me help you. Who you need to meet? A lot of the customers that I have today are done because I just asked them on on my WhatsApp group. I said, who can help me? So don't be crabs. You're amazing. I love Slovakia very much. I hope I will have a little bit more time visiting here. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Please stay for a while with us. I'd like to ask you just a few questions. When you compare Slovakia and Israel in sense of innovations, etc., where you see the differences?
First of all, I see similarities more than differences, because differences is very easy to spot. Not because Slovak, or it's because the human mind, we always look for differences. But I'm looking for similarities, and what I see here is a lot of talented people. So, and this is a very important thing, because if you don't have potential, if you don't have people that are hungry, not in terms of hungry, like physical hungry, like, okay, I want to do something. I want to be something. I want to become something. So this is number one that I saw, and I'm here only for a day and a half. But the people that I met are incredible, with incredible ideas, incredible mind, incredible zest. You know, I see the flare in their eyes. They're like talking with me about startups. They say, "Oh, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to go globally. Like, this is something that I'm really really liked." But if I do, if I may, really humbly, is the chutzpah. I would say a little bit boldness will be just fine here. But again, everyone is polite. Thank you very much, you know. But the chutzpah in business, the boldness in business, because a lot of people that ask me questions or consult me, I say, are you bold enough to make the mistakes? Are you bold enough to do it? And sometimes most of the people that I met say, I need to think about it. Okay, so this is kind of my perspective.
Thank you. What is working better maybe in Israel?
In terms of what?
Innovations, development, creativity.
There is a joke in Israel that if you take a rock and you toss it, you will hit an entrepreneur for sure. Okay, in Israel we have this, it's a good thing, and maybe it's not such a good thing. Everyone is inspired to be an entrepreneur. You know, we're all dreamers. But what really separates apart is that the action that people do. And what I see here in Slovakia, because what I saw, what I met, the people I met, again, just from my really small, short prism, is hardworking and willing to invest. Because Israelis, a lot of us, they're like, yeah, okay, I'm a dreamer, but what are you going to do about it? Not much, but I don't mind saying I'm an entrepreneur, you know, like at 17 years old. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. But this is what I think that Slovakia does have better, because willing to work hard. This is what I saw. By the way, I was born in Ukraine, so we're coming from the same mentality. So I understand this mentality a little bit good.
And last question, maybe it would be interesting for someone to hear, is the system of education and innovations and everything in Israel somehow influenced by the war or not at all?
It's a tough question to reply, but I would say that if you're looking at if you're looking for education, it's hard for me to answer, because I see a wider picture. You know, business is booming. Not a good word, booming. Business are growing, and I see that even though there's a war and a lot of hardship, I see that Startup Nation is only increasing. So people are looking how it happened. How does in war times, how we're still growing, how we're still overcoming those hurdles, and I think this is something very interesting to ponder about.
Thank you very much. Alex Lyhovez, SPS APP. All the best.
Pleasure.